What do Thousand Suns and Wood Elves have in common?
Nothing?
They're both in this week's Sunday preview. That's about all I can think of. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday preview rundown. As said, we've got Thousand Suns and Wood Elves. Let's start with the 41st millennium. Codex Thousand Suns. There are only 1,000 of them, right? Right?
Yes, only 1,000.
Exactly 1,000. Never more, never less. All right, so of course we have the requisite Codex with the requisite special edition. I guess they all had the Primarch on the front, right?
Yeah, I believe they all had the Primarch on the front.
Yes, and this one is no different. Once again, you get the special edition. Once again, it's really expensive, but really cool if you're into it. Not much else to say.
Yeah, pretty thick one, pretty thick codex with only 5, well, with 5 detachments. I guess it's one of the sub-factions, so it kind of makes sense to be smaller.
Yes.
So yeah, good stuff. And then the super special edition, where you still have Magnus on the front, the zoomed-in picture, and you get all the special stuff, the coins and the magnetic thing.
Yes.
And once again, the only way to get the stratagem cards.
Yeah, so weird. Now, this one has not had a box release yet, so this is one where we have not been spoiled on the contents, correct?
That is true.
All right, because the box is here. It's the Warp Flame Thrallband Battle Force.
Yeah, it comes with the new robots.
Yeah, so I'm guessing this is confirming that the robots are coming in groups of 2, which we kind of knew.
Yeah, I think they kind of showed this a little bit on the preview, but they didn't actually say what it was. Like when they showed off the whole thing, they like put this up on the screen, like in a panorama. But
I would personally just like to thank Games Workshop for the first box in 10,000 years for Thousand Suns that has no Zangors.
Yep, absolutely no birds, except the bird heads, but still they're robots.
No, that's fine. That's fine. It's not Zangors. Yeah, so you get 4 of the bird bots, the Sekitar robots, sorry.
Yeah.
5 Terminators, 3 Exalted Sorcerers, and 10 Rubik Marines. I will say that, man, they put those Exalted Sorcerers in a lot of things.
They do. I think the only reason is because you can have them either on foot or on disc, and you only get 1 disc in each box. Mm-hmm. So, like, if you want multiple on disc, you need to buy multiple boxes, or, be creative.
Or murder one of the guys from the next box and put the...
Exactly, which is what I did.
Yeah. So speaking of, Combat Patrol Thousand Suns. This one does have Zangors, but I will forgive it because they are Zangors on discs and not Zangors on foot.
Yeah, these guys are actually, are fast and have a use, rather than the ones being on foot are just, more expensive cultists.
Yes. So 3 enlightened, who can also be built as Skyfires? Question mark.
Yeah, in 40K they are enlightened either way, but in Sigmar they're enlightened or Skyfires.
Okay, I forgot about that part.
Yeah.
And one of the Shaman on the disc, which is a relatively new model actually.
Yeah.
Box of 10 rubrics, and then another Demon Prince.
Yeah, I don't want to call favoritism, but two of these cult boxes have Demon Princes in it. One of them has a Rhino, and one of them is like that Emperor's Children.
You say the Rhino like that's a positive.
No. The Rhino is worse than having a Demon Prince, and having no non-infantry models is worse than having a Rhino.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I would not take the Rhino in any way, shape, or form. Especially both from a game perspective and, more importantly, getting your bang for your buck perspective. Like, that is a
purchasing perspective. Yeah.
That is an ancient kit. I think from that perspective, this is a great Combat Patrol. A little surprised they didn't put the robots in here too, but eh.
Yeah, they want to limit it, I guess. Make you buy the Battle Force.
Yeah. And then, of course, we get the requisite dice and data cards. Dice are nice and readable. Yep. They're yellow on blue, which is not the orange and blue that you normally see for Siege, which is kind of interesting.
Yellow's like a tertiary color, because if you look at the Thousand Suns, their pattern on their helmets are yellow-blue.
Oh yeah, I don't think it's out of character. It's a change from their previous Siege dice.
Yeah.
And then let's flip back to another world that blew up besides Prospero.
Wow. Too soon.
The old world. Too soon. I guess it didn't blow up. It just got demoned,
Same thing.
The old world, on the other hand, absolutely did blow up.
Yes, it definitely did. It exploded along with everybody who was there.
It explodinated. And before that, though, we had the Wood Elves. So, of course, we get their arcane journal and their battalion. Now, this will be of interest because about half these kits were in Age of Sigmar. So, for example, these are all plastics. You get Glade Guard / Deepwood Scouts. You get, that's your melee infantry, basically. You get your Wildwood Rangers / Eternal Guard. And then you also get your Sisters of the Thorn or Wild Riders. Yeah.
And you get 10 of those, so you can mix and match the 2 units, which is kind of nice.
Yep. These are all plastics. They all hold up fairly well as far as plastics goes. Like these don't have the old dwarf plastics goofy monkey arm problem.
Yeah. The basically the closer you get to humanoid, the less uncanny valley they get. So like the elves are pretty good.
Yeah, and these are just newer plastics. I think they just hold up well. Their only problem in Age of Sigmar was they were posed for rank and flank, which is obviously not a problem in Old World because it's kind of the point.
Yeah.
Their requisite dice and data cards. Again, the dice look actually readable. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just like green on white, like green marble on white, which is kind of nice.
And then some returning models. So we've got Orion. Well, I think this is a semi-new, semi-returning. It's like the returning, but they resculpted it.
Oh, okay. Returning...
Because this is not how it used to work.
Yeah, it says returning in metal.
Oh, this is metal. Never mind, I was wrong. I'm thinking a different one.
Yeah, I think it's one of the other ones.
Okay, I was thinking the old resin one. Maybe it wasn't resin. I don't know. It was before my time. Either way, it looks decent. Metal, can hold up pretty well. It's just kind of a pain to work with.
Yeah, I'm not... hair done in metal on the dogs is not for me. And the like sculpted leaves always look weird on the older models, in my opinion. The guy himself looks great. It's the adornments that always kind of throw me off for these older ones.
And then we have Araloth, who is a named model here, but he was the unnamed Nomad Prince in Age of Sigmar for quite a while.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a plastic kit, and it looks fine.
Oh, yes, looks great.
And then we get to some real throwback, the High Elf Noble on Noodle.
Yeah, when you think Elven Dragon, do you think Noodle? Because I don't.
Yes. I mean, I do because of what Old World was. All the dragons are kind of noodly. This is a metal kit with plastic wings, thank God.
Oh, he has plastic wings? Oh, that's good.
Yes. They're not... And paper banners.
Paper banners. Oh, my God.
So this is definitely a throwback classic. You like this if you like the throwback classics. Personally, this is not... I'm on registration as saying dragons are cool. But I meant to say I'm on record, but I said registration, which makes it sound like I'm on a list.
Yeah, they put me on a list because dragons are cool.
They put me on a list for my... never mind, I'm not going to say that out loud.
They're also doing a throwback with the color scheme. Like
Yes, bright green.
Yeah, bright green with like a dull orange.
But yeah, as I've said many times, dragons are cool, and this is still a dragon and cool, but it is definitely a throwback dragon.
I don't like this guy at all.
Then we get some other returning metal wood elf characters, most of which I think hold up pretty well. They've been repainted, and I think that really helps show how much the sculpts still hold up, and it's not just... Like, a lot of old metal paint jobs don't hold up because the paint job standards were lower 20 years ago.
Yeah.
We didn't have the massive amount of information on the internet that we do now.
Or the resources like airbrushing and...
Yeah. They went and repainted these, and I think that really shows how well these sculpts can still hold up, because I like all of these as just like aesthetically.
Yeah, these first three all look fantastic. There's a couple later on that I'm not as hyped for. These all look good too. The elves that are all floating.
So let's start with the Wood Elves Nobles on foot. Those are the first three. I really like Big Horn Guy, but honestly I also like a lady with also big horns, and non-horny guy in the back is boring. But what else is new?
I mean, to be fair, that guy in the back has a little friend underneath him.
Yes, which is the best part, holding up his leaf. And then 4 Wood Elf Mages on foot, who really do capture the Wood Elf Mage vibes.
They're also only debatably on foot.
Yeah. Wait, one of them definitely is.
Yes, one of them is.
Hey, you called the sorcerers up there on foot, and one of those was floating. So
That's true. You got me there.
And then we've got...
Bros on a moose?
Nobles on steed. Elven steed. So, yeah, they have both the... I believe it's a stag, not a moose. I can't really tell.
Yeah, his face is kind of like in a terrible direction. All I see is...
That might actually be a moose.
I see hooves and antlers.
Yeah. Obviously, so Tuno, I love the little chameleon friend on his shoulder. Then we start getting to the Noble on Great Eagle and Wood Elf Mage on Warhawk. The old birds don't hold up as well because
No.
sculpting feathers into metal is a little... It's hard not to make it look like a Helldrake in trim.
Yeah, because, like, the difference between scales and feathers at, like, the scale that you can do in metal is not very much.
Yeah. I'd like to point out that the mage has a bird skull on their staff, which, is kind of like, wow, rude. And then a branch witch, which this is, branch wraith, which is one that was a resin kit, and now they're bringing it back as metal.
Oh, nice.
Well, it was a fine cast resin kit, so yeah, I don't blame them.
Oh, yeah. If they never print another fine cast model, I'm perfectly fine
Yeah,
with that.
a lot of people said we'll just have it in metal. Now, it will be priced accordingly, so,
Yeah.
have fun with that. But
Yeah, honestly, you get the new eagles, like the new Lord of the Rings eagles, and put the 2 flying guys on it. Probably
Yeah.
similar base size. Should be fine.
and then we get returning plastics, which except for one are just in that box up there.
Yeah.
The only one that's not is the Glade Riders, who are the third unit here, the light cavalry that's not the Wild Riders or the Sisters of the Thorn.
Because you need a 3rd light cavalry option.
I mean, hey, they had it then. You got it. That's Old World is based on returning nostalgia things. You can't just leave stuff out.
That's true. And also, to be fair, these are actually horses, so
Yes.
they aren't.
Yes.
They're glade stags or whatever they're called.
And then we get some returning metal Wood Elf units. Some of these, I'm pretty sure, were also fine cast resin for a bit. Probably one of the most demanded ones, and honestly one of the coolest looking ones, is the War Dancer troop.
Yeah, the war dancers. I remember those.
All spec'd into dance fighting. I'm pretty certain, I could be wrong, someone correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I thought they did bring these back as fine cast for a bit. And now they're just going, screw it, back to metal we go. Which,
Yeah.
again, I do not blame them. However, they will be priced accordingly.
Yeah, especially for a 10-man unit, that's probably not going to be cheap.
Yep. And then you get the Way Stalkers, one of which is Carillion from Vermintide, so if you're wondering what class she is. And then Way Watchers, who are just Way Stalkers in, groups.
Yeah,
And then we get Cavalry. Oh, geez, there's a lot of these.
told you.
More of the Warhawk Riders.
I think these ones hold up a little bit better.
Yes,
Again,
I think it's because...
It's probably paint job.
I think it's paint job, and I think it's because their poses are more dynamic.
Yeah, they are.
And I had to look up this one. This is actually the Tree Man and Treekin.
These are the original Tree Lords.
Yeah. So I don't know how big they are, because that will determine some things.
So the Treekin, I believe, are on 50 mil bases, maybe 40.
Yeah, Treekin are like troll equivalents.
And I think the Tree Lord was on a 60?
And then finally we get to some that definitely don't hold up, which is this pack of... I mean, it's the Beast Keepers. So bears, pigs... bears, boars, the Beast Keepers themselves, and also the cats and the hounds. Those hounds look like marmots.
I was going to say, they look more... they look like a weasel, not a hound.
Yeah. The cats and the boars are fine, although you can tell that there's just the one cat model copy-pasted 3 times.
Yeah, with different colors.
But all of these guys have really bad Old Hammer elf chin.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, the best model here is the bear.
It's a bear. But yeah, those are, I'm going to say those are the only kits here that do not hold up.
Yeah,
Mostly
those are...
just the faces on those elves.
Yeah.
Just your chin line is longer than your arm. But we couldn't let the Wood Elves have all the glory. We had to nudge some High Elves in here, so we get High Elf Warmaster, we get Silver Helms, who were previously in the boxes and now are coming out on their own. And finally, a miniature that was previewed ages ago to much hype was the Arcane Frogs.
I want to... So I know the top one has a staff, but I thought he had scissors at first. I thought it was just a frog holding scissors.
Well, it's supposed to represent if you get turned into a frog
Yeah.
in game.
So he could have scissors.
It could be a tailor.
Yeah.
And that's it. Preview for next week's Warhammer Community. More Scourge of Gyran, War Scrolls, and of course
Thousand Suns.
more Thousand Sun stuff, and then probably a Chaos Knights teaser.
Malevolent reveal, clunking and whirring over the horizon. Yeah, Chaos Knights probably.
If they're saying malevolent, it's going to be chaos.
That's right. And we were both wrong last week when they said it was Omnissiah pleasing and it ended up being knights.
Yeah.
But I'm fine with that.
Oh well. And that is it from us this Sunday. I'm sure you're going to be getting some of the Thousand Sun stuff eventually because you actually play that faction.
I actually sold my stuff to Cody.
Oh well, then maybe Cody will get it.
So Cody's buying it.
And then, I don't know, depending on the prices, I could see myself in the future getting some of the hero sculpts for the Wood Elves, but it's going to depend on a lot of the prices, and I think those prices are going to be really bad because they're metal.
Yeah, they're gonna be too much.
Yeah.
A little surprised they didn't actually have any like new sculpts for them. Everything was returning or like slightly edited.
Well, I mean, I think that's because most of it holds up a lot better than a lot of other stuff.
That's true. A lot of the returning ones are like, why would you guys do that?
Nostalgia is a hell of a drug.
It is. It's true.
Well, let us know below if there's anything you're excited for, especially if I was wrong about the metal things being risen, and we will talk to you next Sunday.
Bye-bye.